Thank you very much, Ms. Cavazos. First and foremost, I don't want to reemphasize on some of the comments that have already been covered, but I do want to give special thanks to the groups that you have identified in your agenda who have worked with the city, like KidWorks, Latino Health Access, OCO, the OC Labor Federation, and of course, Sacred. And you know that those groups, David, are prime groups that will continue working with you. But I want to make 5 quick points very quick and, for consideration. Number one, I think we need to make sure that we continue monitor the decision-making at the council level and at the management level to make sure that we continue or continue to be greater transparency in the decision-making. Whenever there's a contract before the council, whenever there's an issue before the council, we want to make sure that the council members and the mayor would have a clean card and that they essentially either indicate to whether or not they have any relationships or whether or not there will be any kind of ways for them not to vote. That's very important for our community, David, so make sure that we need to do that. The second thing is that I review very quickly what you have and what you distribute. I think that we need to add to that plan measurable goals. Measurable goals, not just say we're going to have this, but rather by when specifically, and possibly provide our community either a quarterly report on some way or another so that in fact you can actually assess and check whether or not your staff is really making sure that those goals are accomplished. Measurable goals, something that I think needs to be added to the plan. The third thing that I want to share with you and hopefully with everybody here is that we need to develop a true marketing plan for the city of Santa Ana. A true marketing plan so that in fact, not only we distribute that information to future employers, but also to other members of our communities, but most importantly, to make sure that we attract businesses and create more jobs for our community. This is a working community, David, and we need to make sure that we provide jobs with good wages, and jobs that are going to be able to continue promoting the opportunities that we have in the city. The other comment that I want to make is that we need to make sure that we provide a way so that we can look into the possibility of creating neighborhood councils by ward. Neighborhood councils by ward. And with all due respect, I know that we have many representatives of the associations, but I don't believe that we really have a work plan so that in fact each ward is being addressed properly and that the residents, all residents, will be able to have a voice in the process so they can bring it to the council on future development. And then finally, I just want to indicate that we're looking forward and working with you. We're looking forward to make sure that we create also a new office, economic development and workforce development. And that person should be reporting directly to you so that in fact, I know you're very conscious about what we need to do, so that in fact, we need to be able to see hands-on that the direction of that office. We've had an economic office for many years, but I believe that we have not really taken advantage of all the opportunities, all the potential employers, and all the future developments for our city. So once again, thank you, and I'm really pleased to see a great turnout of the city residents today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. My name is Madeline Spencer, and I am a part of Sacred, and I am a member of the Occupy movement. I am here today, and I just want to say that I am thoroughly excited about the opportunity that our Sunshine Ordinance, the new transparency law, has provided in its implementation, which is being proven here today through the allowance for civic engagement in determining our future through its mandate for strategic planning. I'm enthusiastic about how much of our community input has already been added into the first draft of this strategic plan, and especially regarding the issue of inclusion, which is where I'm going to be speaking on right now, under the city's stated objective of community health, livability, engagement, and sustainability. There are a few points that I would like to put in as important and priorities that ought to be looked at that are not covered at the moment. But one of those is to identify access points where the city can engage with different groups of people in geographic areas and use this information to develop outreach targets for a broader range of people representative of the city of Santa Ana, going along with what Mr. Amesqua just stated about having councils in communities, but also things such as we noticed that like 26,000 people can be reached on the robocall system to the schools. Also, that there should be more access points. There's 56,000 students, and we'd like to see them being able to engage their parents to come to things like this today so that there's more community engagement. We also would like to see the city initiate a strong working collaboration with the Santa Ana Unified School District around outreach and community events, programs, and planning. My roommate is actually a teacher, and she said she worked in the Garden Grove system and now works in Santa Ana Unified. And since she's been here, she hasn't once received any flyer to give out to her students saying that there's any kind of community-wide engagement since she's been working in the city. We'd like to see things like that change, and that the Santa Ana Unified system become collaborative with the city in measures. Otherwise, we won't be able to change a lot of things. We also would like to create a formal statement saying that all residents are encouraged to participate in public processes, including undocumented residents, without fear of repercussions. Right now, a lot of people, as you know, if they feel like they are in fear, they will not actually come out and engage, even though we have a large population in this city that are undocumented. So those are 3 planning objectives that we would love to see added to the strategic planning under inclusion, and we thank you for the hard work that you guys are doing now and for this process that you're allowing us all to be a part of. Thank you.
Good morning, David. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you personally, but I will soon. I'm president of the Morrison Park Neighborhood Association, and we welcome you certainly to the city of Santa Ana. I'm also a member of Connect Council. I was faced with a job transfer in 1984 from the city of Chicago. I looked at a map of Southern California. I was going to be working at Chapman University. And right away I found out that Santa Ana was the county seat. It was a city that was a city, not a cookie-cutter community. And I chose to purchase a home there and have lived here ever since. I got involved in neighborhood work about 7 years ago after I retired, and it has been one of the most important segments of my life. An education for me, and I like to think that I have done a little bit of good in our neighborhood. I want to compliment the city on the strategic plan, and I think that it is a huge first step forward, and I'm really excited about you doing it, and also excited about you involving the community. But there is one word that is missing from the plan that was very, very disturbing to me, and that is the word senior. You know, I understand completely, and I endorse 100% all of the emphasis and the important steps forward we are taking for the youth in this community. That is absolutely critical to the well-being of the city and the safety of every citizen in the city. But I would appeal to you folks to not completely overlook the potential contributions and the needs of the senior citizens in Santa Ana. In everything you do, I would hope that you will consider, does this work for senior citizens? You know, senior citizens are the people who have made the financial investment, or have filled the jobs, or have opened businesses, and a multitude of other functions in this city for years and years and years. And I saw the word mentorship, and I thought to myself, I hope they will contact senior citizens for mentoring some of the troubled youth and for some of the people who are trying to start businesses, things like that. I think the city can be a tremendous facilitator in taking that initiative to encourage that to happen. The only other point I would like to make is I would ask you at every turn to work with the neighborhood associations and to provide city staff to strengthen their training and development of the leaders in the neighborhoods. When it all comes to the final picture, where people live, raise their families, is probably one of the most important parts of their life. And we want in our city of Santa Ana to have a city that everybody wants to live in. I recently wrote an article for the Register, and I ended it by saying that we need a new slogan, the city that works. And I thank you for your time.
Good morning. My name is Olo Campo, and I am here as a member of Latino Health Access Core Group, Core Youth, and Sacred and Santa Ana Building a Healthy Community. I am 14 years old and a freshman in Godinez Fundamental High School, who wants our youth voice to be heard in the planning of the strategic plan. I do encourage and love the idea of expanding youth programming. However, the strategic plan should encourage the city to work with the school district and with nonprofits to provide restorative justice programs so we can help prevent struggling youth from falling into the criminal justice system and instead set them on a positive path. Restorative justice programs are important to not only me, but a lot more youth in Santa Ana, because we do not like the way youth are easily falling into the system of criminal justice. As a city, we should prevent youth from falling into this category. As a city, we should help youth who are already in this problem to get out, and instead of punishing them. And as a city, we should change the life of many others. So this is my point of view of the strategic plan, and I hope you could use it for the health of Santa Ana.
My name is Omar de la Riva. I'm a resident here of Santa Ana. I've lived here since I was 7 years old, so Santa is a really important place to me. And I'm here representing and talking about our biking campaign out of KidWorks. We feel that biking can resolve a lot of the problems that we see with the city. For example, during one of the strategic planning points, I remember very clearly one of the points of asking how to come up with new and innovative ways to find parking in downtown. So for example, biking is a very simple way that could be done, right? You could park 12 bikes where one car would normally go up and park. We want to see innovative ways that biking and active transportation and walking and other ways of moving around the city can help with these problems. For example, one of the things that we've always wondered about too, we know that the city is in a very precarious financial situation at times, whereas one bike lane is going to be maintained and built at a fraction of the cost of what a street would be. So if this is something that we can do, we could focus on biking and a more active transportation for the city's residents to be able to travel around the city, it would be a different way for the city to save money. In addition, parts of the city are very unhealthy, right? A lot of people don't have access to parks. It's very difficult for people to live in certain neighborhoods to go out there and do exercise. This could be a very easy way where if you get up in the morning and you bike to work, you bike to your shopping, you bike back home, maybe you bike to go pick up your kids from school, you could easily do 12 or 13 miles of biking. Of course, if it's safe and people could feel safe doing that. So for example, doing something like that of biking 13 miles of just doing your normal errands where normally you would be you would be driving, that's about 500, 600 calories. So imagine those 500, 600 calories every day times 5 days a week, times 4 times a month, for all the city's residents, or even half of the city's residents, how much of a healthier place Santa Ana could be, along with being able to talk to your neighbors, being able to walk, meet somebody on the bike trail, and have it be a more pleasant city to live overall. My second point would be that we see that downtown is a very important part of the city and that a lot of resources are being focused into downtown. And we realize that biking and walking paths along Santa Ana are going to be great, and we would love to be able to do that. But part of that is going to be, I may say, not as useful as it could be if other parts of the city are not connected to downtown. So for example, if me and my coworkers that work off of First and Rate want to be able to go to downtown and enjoy one of the restaurants on there, we have to bike a very difficult way to get there in order for us to do that, right? But imagine if you could have a city that connects all the neighborhoods and downtown, how much of a more prosperous area Santa Ana could be. So we want to be able to look beyond downtown. Yes, downtown is going to be an important area for the city, but we want to be able to look beyond downtown for the biking and active transportation and pedestrian walkways. Lastly, the last thing that I want to say is that we're a very young city. We know, I think some of us have been lucky enough to travel and see the world. We know what can be done. We know what's been done in the cities of Europe, where in Copenhagen, for example, you could have 20,000 bike rides on one street. You know, they can log in over 3 million bike rides over a year. We know that other cities in South America, like Bogota, have been able to do something like that, where the idea of the ciclovia, where LA Ciclovia is copying them as well, to be able to close down streets where people can safely bike. And so we want to see that innovation here in Santa Ana. We don't want to see just the regular painting a bike lane down the street and call it a day. We want innovation. We want something that we know in the next couple of years, when people need to be able to actively move around the city, that it's going to be an easier way to do it, and we don't get caught unprepared for that inevitability. So we want innovation. We want nothing less than the best for our residents, obviously, and we know that it can be done. It's been done in other cities. Those are my comments. Thank you very much for your time.
Good morning, council members, Mr. Cavazos. Thank you for the opportunity to speak this morning. My name is Adriana Moreno, and I'm here with the Children's Health Initiative of Orange County. I've had the privilege to work with Sacred and Santa Ana Building Healthy Communities. I'm here to share a little bit of my story, how I identify with what's happening with the strategic plan. I've lived in Santa Ana. I went to Century High School, graduated from Century High School. And at one point, I was a youth, and I played basketball there. And unfortunately, I didn't have all the opportunities. I didn't have a program, an internship program, or anything like that. Unfortunately, I had to be working really odd jobs, babysitting and riding a bike, because I didn't have driver's license to drive. So I really strongly want to remind the people that are working with this strategic plan to think about the city internship program, to have that in the strategic plan, to provide our youth with real work experience that later on will contribute to the economy of Santa Ana. I'm working still in Santa Ana with this nonprofit, and had not been for the help of many people at my high school, I would have never gone to UCI and graduate at UCI as well. So really creating those jobs, not only for the residents, but specifically for the youth. The second thing I want to address is the ICE contract that the city currently has. My parents were immigrated here to Santa Ana from Mexico, and I also got to experience a lot of that hardship, being on my own at 13 and being separated. I did get to travel in those ICE vans, sent back, and fortunate enough, I didn't fall in the statistics of not being able to go to school, but nobody can understand the pain and the hardship of a family that gets separated as the family itself. So I urge you to please consider that, to really put focus on those contracts. I know that contracts like that bring a lot of financial, fiscal to the city, but I'm sure there's other ways to find that. Thank you.
Buenos días a cada uno de ustedes. In Spanish. Esta vez vengo a representar como adulto, líder de la ciudad de Santa Ana.
Today I'm here to represent adult leaders in the city of Santa Ana.
He trabajado juntamente con muchas organizaciones
I've worked alongside many different organizations in the city of Santa Ana,
como OCO, Latino Health Access, Land Use, la iglesia de todas las iglesias,
OCO, Latino Health Access, the Land Use Working Group, and all the different churches in the city.
como la educación, la salud. Vengo representando también a la comunidad de número 1 que tiene Santa Ana, que
I've also worked on health and safety, and I'm coming here to represent the number one community here in Santa Ana.
hemos trabajado juntamente con la policía, que tenemos muy buena comunicación. Gracias a ellos se ha terminado el problema que teníamos en la Sullivan del crimen. Yo creo que tuve que llorar para que los jóvenes se fueran para otra área y ya no mataran gente ahí.
So I'm happy to report that we have a great relationship with the police department in our neighborhood of Sullivan, and we've worked collaboratively to make sure that some of the young people are not in the neighborhood anymore, that were killing other young people.
Ahora vengo a decirle a ustedes que pongan un poquito de énfasis en la salud porque tenemos un poco de mal servicio en lo que es todo el medical y el servicio. A mí me costó 2 años para que me inscribieran en ese famoso servicio de Obamacare, pero como no tenemos los adultos el dinero, no nos pueden dar un plan de lujo. Entonces, no sabemos si nos van a poder atender por las enfermedades que tenemos nosotros.
I'm asking the city to put a little focus on the issue of health and healthcare. It's taken over 2 years for me to enroll in what has become Obamacare. And because of the high cost, I haven't been able to enroll in any of what they call luxury plans. And that means that I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to pay for all of the different medicine I need to maintain my health.
También estoy trabajando juntamente con Land Use acerca de los parques que necesitamos expandir para tener una mejor salud y tener jardines comunitarios y también para tener una mejor vivienda.
I'm also working with the land use working group, and we're working to make sure that we expand the open spaces and parks available to have the health we need in our communities, on the creation of community gardens, as well as the importance of housing and quality housing.
He tenido el gusto de sentarme con los señores planeadores de la ciudad y estamos trabajando juntamente con el parqueo, que es overcrowding. Tenemos muchos carros ya en Santana. Yo me moví hace 30 años a Santana y era una ciudad muy pacífica, muy tranquila. Pero las familias han crecido y nuestras calles son muy angostas y necesitamos mejorar el tráfico.
I've also, one of the issues I've raised in the past few years, I've been in the city for 30 years, and the families in our community has grown in that time. We have very narrow streets, and one of the issues I'd like to see addressed is that we have so much overcrowding in the parking in our city.
También quiero mencionar que la electricidad que tenemos en Santana se asemeja a un país muy pobre. Y queremos mejorar todo el servicio de luz. Queremos que sea underground, que sea bajo la tierra, que ya no sea esos postes que tenemos peligro de que se nos caigan encima, o tenemos los vientos de Santa Ana muy fuertes y pueden caer los cables.
So another thing I wanted to talk about is the electricity here in the city. Our electrical system here in the city makes me think that we were a third world country in some ways. I would like to see the electrical cables here in the city move from the different, those big brown things to the underground. And that would be ideal so that we don't have to worry about the Santa Ana winds coming through here and blowing down these cables onto our cars and our houses.
Thank you very, very much for your service, for your time. And thank you, everybody, for being here.
Thank you. My name is Carlos. I come from KidWorks, part of the Bike It Santa Ana campaign. And I wanted to make some comments regarding community facilities and infrastructures. In the section regarding community facilities and infrastructures, try to include complete street strategies and models to improve all streets and make them safe for pedestrians and bicyclists as well as other users. In the same section, the investment plan should focus on all parts of the city and not just what's considered an asset. In addition, priority should be in the community areas with the most needs, improving public health. Also, we need to keep in mind that downtown Santa Ana is a destination to the community of Santa Ana, and to access this destination's complete street strategy should be implemented throughout the whole Santa Ana in order to have a city that is safe for the community and is user-friendly to active transportation. Regarding economic development in Objective 1, Strategy C, the city wants to promote projects such as the 55 Freeway Corridor, Harbor Boulevard, downtown, and the streetcar corridor. However, how can we focus on such costly projects when the city cannot establish a simple sidewalk in between Greenville and Fairview located in Edinger, and that place is mostly used by youth who access Carr Intermediate, Carl Harvey Elementary, Diamond Elementary, Valley High School, and Godinez Fundamental. I just wanted to make those comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. And thank you, David, and all of the staff and the council members and everyone that put all the time and effort into this, strategic plan. I wanted to just say that I agree with Massimo and Breezy May, who spoke earlier about the homeless. I used to work for the city of Santa Ana, and when I would drive into the parking structure, there would always be homeless people there, and I would always be the one who would stop my car and wait for people to cross. And of course, people would be honking in back of me and being really upset. And so I recognize that that is an issue. So that's why it disturbs me that under Goal 1, Objective 1, Bullet Point G, that says you talk about reducing criminal behavior and providing resources for the homeless population. That disturbs me when you link that together. I think the homeless issue needs a separate bullet, perhaps under community health goal, and then perhaps to discuss a little bit more or research a little bit more about the resources and maybe take a little more social service perspective on addressing that issue, because I think it's important. I think it affects us all, and so I would like to see a little bit more emphasis placed on that. The other issue that I wanted to talk about is, I agree with Steve McGuigan, who talked about, and the other gentleman also, who talked about there is nothing here about seniors. And I can get a senior discount in some restaurants, okay, so I'm there, and I'm sorry, one day I woke up and it was like, oh wait, what happened? Okay, I could get the senior discount, okay? But then I think, okay, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? I have a son and a lot of his friends that hang out together, and I look at them and I think, oh my God, this is our future. Those are the ones that are going to be taking care of me as I get older. So we still have to focus on youth. We have to look at hiring youth. Working for the Parks and Recreation Department, I know it used to take us, and I know it still does, take a long time to hire those part-timers for our summer programming. And I really believe that we need to make that process faster. We need to hire young people. We need to hire young people from Santa Ana. And then what we need to do is we need to highlight the accomplishments of those young people. Under bullet number, it's the last goal, objective number 6, bullet C, where you talk about documenting and celebrating and sharing stories. Well, we have stories in our own backyard about young people who have worked, actually who were volunteers, who were rugrats, the kids in our programs, then became volunteers, then we hired them as part-time employees, then they were promoted to full-time employees, and they went on to live very, very successful and productive lives and have contributed tremendously to the city. So you talk about, I agree with all the prevention stuff, I agree with all of that. I wrote millions of dollars of grant and millions of dollars of grant programs that were prevention focused, but we also were missing something, I think, when we don't highlight the positive things. There's enough negative stories out there already in the media. So let's go back and find all those kids that went through our programs, that were hired and who contributed to what we have now in this great city, and who are contributing and who are going to take care of us as we grow older. So let's highlight those positive things so that we stop focusing on all the negative things that kids do and talking about prevention. We've done a lot of prevention. Let's focus on that and highlight that and make sure that that gets communicated throughout the entire United States. And one last thing real quickly. I just happened to find by accident on the website, city website, E2G2. I was looking for a Santa Ana business, and you want us to support Santa Ana businesses, but I found that by accident. So it's that easy to get to. David, you're kind of like looking, what is that, okay? Easy to get to. You can find any Santa Ana business on the city website, but you have to kind of struggle to get there. So let's work on that to make sure that people know that that's there. Thank you.
Gracias, buenos días a todos. Mi nombre es Juan Godoy, de la Banda de Guerra México, aquí en Santana. Pues seré breve. Traigo algunos comentarios de la comunidad, de los mismos compañeros, amigos que escuchamos que seguridad hay mucha en Santa Ana, de diferentes índoles en educación y en cuestión de policía en las calles, pero la misma gente, la seguridad, tienen inseguridad cuando algún amigo, algún familiar es detenido por la policía por delitos menores y cae a la cárcel y en ocasiones han sido deportados o no sabemos en realidad qué es lo que pase al saber que la migra está, el ICE está en la cárcel.
Good morning, my name is Juan Godoy. I'm here from the Guerrero group here in Santa Ana, and I'm here to talk about the issue of security. When we read about security in this document, it speaks a lot about police and the police coming to our, responding to crimes in our neighborhoods, but we also want to talk about the issue of security in terms of immigration and the issues that our communities face when we know that a lot of the people in our community are being deported for committing potentially only minor crimes, and these families and people disappear from our community without even necessarily knowing what's happening to them. And this is an issue when we have ICE in our jail.
Sí, esa es la inseguridad, vuelvo, hay mucha seguridad, sí lo sabemos, pero también necesitamos como moralmente saber que estamos seguros, pero lo que necesitamos que la comunidad sepa que no tiene relación Santana con ICE dentro de las cárceles. Gracias.
So for us to have a safe community, we are not going to be safe when the community isn't sure that the city is, if the city is collaborating with ICE or not. So we need to get ICE out of our jails to make sure our communities feel safe. Thank you.
Buenos días, yo soy Adrián Muñoz y soy miembro de aquí de la comunidad de Santana, vivo aquí en Santana y estoy aquí representando el arte, la cultura comunitaria con Sacred y Santana Saludable.
Hi, my name is Adrián Muñoz. I live here in Santana. I am here representing art and culture, community art and culture with Sacred and Building Healthy Communities.
Creemos que el arte y la cultura debe ser reflejada en este plan estratégico. Creemos que la inversión en el arte y la cultura comunitaria ayuda en la prevención para los jóvenes.
We believe that community art and culture should be reflected in the strategic plan. We also believe that the investment in arts and culture will help prevention for youth.
Creemos que los espacios culturales comunitarios deben ser una prioridad dentro del plan estratégico.
We believe that cultural spaces in the community should be a priority within the strategic plan.
Yo tengo una experiencia con mi hermano, bueno, ahorita mi hermano está en la cárcel, pero es un joven de 20 años que yo estoy convencido de que si mi hermano hubiera tenido la oportunidad, un espacio para poder expresar su arte, porque es un joven que pinta muy bien y lo hace a lápiz, yo estoy convencido de que si él hubiera tenido esa oportunidad, él estuviera estudiando ahorita arte en algún colegio o alguna universidad.
And I have a personal story to tell. I have a brother who is in prison, and I truly believe that if he would have had a space where he could express himself through art, that he could have gone on to study that in higher education because he paints very well.
Bueno, yo me retiro con este mensaje que dice: los sueños de todos unidos en un plan son un mejor futuro para la comunidad de Santana. Gracias.
So I just want to conclude by saying that the dreams of all of us united in one plan are better for the future of our community.
Buenos días, señor Cavazos y personal de la ciudad. Gracias por abrirnos este espacio. Mi nombre es Apolonio Cortés y soy residente de la ciudad de Santana y también estoy participando con Sacred.
Good morning, Mr. Cavazos and city staff. Thank you for opening this space up for us. My name is Apolonio Cortés, and I'm a resident here in Santana.
Quiero hablar un poquito sobre el plan de desarrollo económico. La ciudad debe promover un crecimiento de los negocios en todas las áreas geográficas de la ciudad.
And And he's a member of Sacred, I forgot to mention that. So the city should be promoting the growth of businesses in all areas, all geographical areas of the city.
Por medio de crear incentivos a los negocios para que den descuentos en los impuestos.
Through providing incentives to provide incentives so they can, hold on, a los negocios como descuentos de impuesto. Como descuentos de impuestos. So such as a tax incentive.
La ciudad debe mantener estándares para asegurar que estos negocios van a crear buenos trabajos y de calidad para los residentes locales.
The city should maintain standards to ensure that these businesses are going to create good jobs.
El porcentaje de negocios locales y agencias de gobierno deben emplear a los residentes de Santana.
And also good quality of life for local residents. For example, the percentage of local businesses and government agencies give employment to residents of Santana.
La pobreza y el desempleo contribuye a un ambiente inseguro.
Poverty and unemployment contribute to an unsafe environment.
Dentro del plan estratégico, queremos una póliza que hable de mejorar las oportunidades de empleo y reducir la pobreza dentro de la comunidad.
Within the strategic plan, we want to see policies that improve opportunities for employment and also reduce poverty within our community.
Y en este punto específicamente queremos que los negocios provean de un salario digno para nuestra comunidad.
And specifically, we want to see that jobs provide a living wage.
El plan también debe de crear buenos trabajos para los residentes de Santana y los jóvenes.
The strategic plan should also focus on creating jobs for the residents of Santana, including youth,
para generar las mismas oportunidades de mantenerse ellos mismos y a sus familias y contribuyan dignamente a la comunidad.
so that they can generate opportunities for themselves, to maintain themselves and their families, and contribute to their community.
Dice, cuando hablamos de la comunidad hay que tener en cuenta también a las personas mayores, desamparados, personas especiales, es decir, todos los que vivimos en esta ciudad, los que estamos viviendo, creo que aquí nada más quiero hacer un poquito de énfasis, todos significa todos. Están los jóvenes, desde los niños, jóvenes, adultos, personas mayores, es decir, de la tercera edad, y las personas desamparadas, y también los tienen problemas especiales.
When we talk about the community, that needs to be taken into consideration, and I want to make emphasis on this. We're talking about everyone, and everyone means youth, it means seniors, it means those of us that are homeless, and it also means people with special needs. So when we talk about everyone, that's who everyone is.
The time is almost up. You have a final comment?
Sí, nada más quiero concluir. Los sueños de todos unidos es un plan y un mejor futuro para la comunidad de Santana.
I just want to conclude by saying the dreams of all of us united under one plan is a better future for the community of Santana.
Gracias.
Thank you very much. My name is Ana Ursua. I am representing Santa Ana Building Healthy Communities. And I'd like to start off by congratulating the city manager, city staff, and the community, because this is a very important step. I heard a man say not too long ago, a lack of a plan is a plan to fail. And so it's very important that we start the visioning and the work for the long term today and with the plan. And so the strategic plan is a very good first step. I also want to say that you're right about partnerships. You're right that we are all on the same team because as you see today, there's lots of us that have been working at this for a while and we know how to do it. It's very good to see a lot of community here. It's very good to see the room still full and so many cards still to be and people to be heard. And at the same time, we have to be accountable to each other if we're all on the same team together. And in order to be able to do that, it's very important that we have quantifiable goals. It's very important that we know what are the outcomes we expect within what time frame, how much funding are we allocating so that we are sure that each of those are going to be met, and what are the indicators that we'll know to be sure that we're successful. So that's a very important piece of information that we think should also be at the hands of the public. So I know that the city is working on that and that that's important for the community to also have because we will all be accountable to each other. Lastly, I'd like to say that with the strategic plan, with the general plan, and a lot of these guiding documents that we are creating, it's very important that we propose a health lens and a health focus, a prevention focus. Because that encompasses everything. That encompasses the equitable growth, the equitable economic growth that we hope to see that incorporates, yes, the downtown, but also the neighborhoods, also I heard folks from the South Main businesses, that we need to include strategies for youth. We need to make sure that the policies that they are researching and that they are proposing are incorporated, restorative justice being one good example, et cetera, et cetera. This is the opportunity to redesign and reimagine the future of Santana. And if we have at a focus the most underserved, the folks with the most need, I know the homelessness was raised up today too. If we focus on the most need and elevate the standard of living at that level, we will elevate the standard of living for everyone. Last things that I would like to say is that this is a combination of work of multiple sectors, and it needs to combine the data that we have, data that we don't have yet, including neighborhood data, research, but also the people that you see here today. So just want to say that I think we're going in the right direction and that we're here and we are partners in this and that we hope to see more. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Cavazos and all the staff from the City of Santa Ana and all the folks represented here from the community. I am very proud to live and work in Santa Ana. I am here representing myself as a resident of the city. I'm here representing the organization that I run, KidWorks, in the west side. Well, actually, we're all throughout the central Santa Ana, and also representing Santa Ana Building Healthy Communities. I'm excited about the progress that has been made, and I think that this is only possible because of so many people that have taken of their time, of their hard work. It's not just the people that show up for the forums, but there's people here that meet every single week to discuss these issues, to make sure that their voices, their stories are heard and become part of this plan for the future of Santa Ana. So I'm honored to be a part of that group. You know, I'm here, there's a lot of issues that are important to me, but I want to focus on equitable growth because I want to make sure that as we look at building, developing, incentivizing businesses to come to this city, that we do not forget about the area of central Santa Ana, and that we remember that poverty and unemployment contribute to an unsafe community, and we can't separate these out. They are all interrelated. Education, poverty, businesses, all of them have to be looked at together. And I appreciate what Ana said about making sure that we keep a health lens and that we look at those that are at the greatest need, because if we elevate the tide for them, we're elevating the tide for everyone. So let's make sure that the employment opportunities that are that are incentivized under this plan are reducing poverty throughout the community. At KidWorks, we're very focused on developing young leaders, on education, and on helping young people find and express their voice, and on making sure that they see themselves as the leaders of today and the leaders of tomorrow. So as kids are being educated, as they're going off to the UCs across the state, the Cal States across the state, as they're going across the country to other colleges, my goal, and I hope that all of our goal, is to make sure that they want to come back and want to invest in their hometown, in their city, that they are excited about what's going on in this city, and that they are looking forward to coming back and raising their families and being the next city council members, the next mayor, the next city manager of Santa Ana. And we can only do that if we really focus on strong workforce development and not forgetting the entire city of Santa Ana, and not just attracting people from outside the city, but really developing those young leaders that are growing up within this city. So that's what I wanted to share, and thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Pablo Jimenez. I'm 16. I currently go to Middle College High School. I'm a junior. And what I would like to bring up is that I have volunteered in a lot of different organizations and a lot of different groups. But I feel like a lot of teens, and myself included, are guilty of not giving back to your own home community. And sometimes it's due to the circumstances of where you're at. Because I live in Rate and Washington, and I went to Fremont Elementary and Mendez Intermediate. So I've been in the same neighborhood my whole life. And then I can't really do a lot of volunteer work at Salvador Park or other neighboring regions because it's considered dangerous. There's a lot of gang activity and drug use, and there's very little monitoring that goes around. So I think there's a lot of good teens that are helpful, that are willing to help and have a lot of attributes that can really help out their communities. But it's really hard for them to, if the place they want to help out is not safe and it's not good enough for them to work there. With that being said, that's why I feel like if we were to implement a lot of youth programs there, specifically Salvador Center, because I've lived there my whole life and I've never even really gone to help out there, but I've helped out in other cities. I've helped out in outside parts of Santa Ana that my parents and myself seem safer, along with a lot of other kids and teens. So I'd like to see a lot of youth programs so that kids can, from a young age, aspire to be something else and learn to be culturally diverse instead of only see gangsters and want to be that. So that's mine. Thank you.
My name is Suleima Valera, and I'm representing Sacred. I'm a resident of Santa Ana, and we want to talk about safety. Safety is a big priority for all of us who live in Santa Ana, but safety doesn't just mean responding to crimes or more police in the streets. Real safety means the prevention of crime and danger through investing in our community's future and creating an environment of trust. This means encouraging the city to work with the school district and with nonprofits to provide restorative justice programs. It means ending the city's contract with ICE that allows ICE to use the city jail, and it also means creating policies that talk about improving employment opportunities and reducing poverty in the community. Not too long ago, I had this idea that if I can do it, so can they. If I can get into a college, so can they. If I can get out of the crime-infested neighborhood, so can they. I came to realize how ignorant this idea was, because I started watching the news and I started hearing people talk about poverty who have never experienced poverty say the poor are poor because they chose to be poor. And something in my head clicked when I heard that comment. Who would choose to have a child at the age of 13? Who would choose to live in a crime-infested neighborhood? Well, no one would choose that. Do you know what my little cousin told me when she got pregnant at the age of 13? She told me, I didn't know I could get pregnant the first time. Along her life, someone failed her, whether it was her parents or the school district, it doesn't matter. Because once she had that child, her life became harder. Now, I live here in District 1. About 3 years ago, I moved to some nice gated apartments, which have a kindergarten and a community center. And I tried to have my friends who were still living in that crime-infested neighborhood where I lived before move to these nice apartments, and they chose not to. But rather, they couldn't, because to live in these apartments, you had to complete a package where you had to have a certain income to get into them. Not only that, but these apartments cost $200 more, and they had certain restrictions. For one room apartment, only 4 people could live in them, and for 2 rooms, only 6. And right now, there's only 1 room apartments available. In the end, the people who would really benefit from these apartments cannot afford to live in them. To conclude, Santana residents do not choose to live in an unsafe neighborhood. Sometimes it is the only thing they can afford. That's why I think we should start investing in restorative justice programs and to improve the employment, because these will all benefit the big picture. That's all.
Gracias. Todavía muy buenos días. Agradezco a los personeros de la mesa que están al frente de nosotros por la oportunidad que nos han dado de estar aquí presente para hacer comentarios de las necesidades que tienen nuestros sectores. Como
Good morning. I just want to thank all of you here at the table for this opportunity for us to come and speak about what we're seeing in our communities and our sectors.
el tema que yo escribí en la hojita que me dieron era sobre la iluminación. Voy a hacerlo más claro, preciso y conciso. No soy abogado, pero voy a actuar como tal.
So my comment today that I wrote on the card is in regards to lighting. I'm going to be as clear as I can on this point. I am not an attorney, but I'm going to speak as if I am.
Voy a hacer una proporción sobre los temas que más nos aquejan, que es la seguridad y los negocios. En este caso, quiero plantearles a ustedes cómo proporcionalmente una buena iluminación crea un sentimiento de seguridad, y ningún inversionista va a invertir en una ciudad en penumbras, en una ciudad semi-iluminada o en una ciudad no alumbrada, porque Santana no solamente es el downtown. Santana está compuesta por casi 400,000 personas.
So this is what I want to propose to you. I want to make a proposition on most of the complaints that we hear, which have to do with safety and businesses. So this is what I want to propose, is that great lighting provides a sense of safety. And no investor is going to invest in a city that is only semi-lit because that doesn't provide a sense of safety. And also that our city is not just downtown. Our city is composed of 400,000 people.
Una buena iluminación en Santana que nos hace falta, aunque el año pasado hubo un señor que se convirtió en héroe porque hizo un pequeño censo y descubrió muchas lámparas que no iluminaban y la ciudad actuó. Yo no vengo a convertirme en héroe, no vengo a trascender en este tema, tampoco busco vuestros aplausos, pero de algo sí estoy convencido, como todos nosotros, es de que hay sectores que no están iluminados. Y una iluminación que produce confianza, sentimiento de seguridad, a la larga es económico. ¿Cuántos crímenes se producen en la oscuridad?
So I want to say great lighting is missing. And not too long ago, we had a local hero who did a census and noticed that there were a lot of streetlights that were not working. And the city acted. And I'm not here to be a hero today. I'm not looking for your applause, but I'm here to say that some sectors are still in need of lighting. We don't have good lighting. And as you know, lighting creates a sense of security, of safety, and in the long term, we will have economic benefits because a lot of crimes happen in very dark places.
Toda la gente verá lo que pasa, lo que pasó y lo que pasará. Y no estaremos ofertando premios para que nos indiquen quién vio, quién escuchó. Por favor, iluminemos a Santana como un arbolito de Navidad, más o menos.
Many people will see what happened and what will happen, but we're not offering rewards or incentives for people to say what they saw. So please, let's illuminate Santa Ana like a Christmas tree.
Un tema, voy a aprovechar el tiempo que ustedes me dan y les agradezco su gentileza. Octa ha aumentado la frecuencia de sus bases y lo que estamos viendo es que hay mucha más gente en la parada de los bases y estamos viendo que la naturaleza nos está cambiando, nos está produciendo más calor o más frío. En este momento está haciendo más calor, pero hay momentos en que llueve mucho y hace mucho frío. Y hay mucha gente que está en la parada de los bases y no está cubierto por nada, más que nada seniors. Entonces queremos esa cubierta en todas las bancas en donde la gente se sienta a esperar sus bases.
Okay, so since you're giving me more time, I want to thank you for your attention and also to speak on another point. We have many people waiting for buses at bus stops. And with all of these environmental changes, it's causing problems. We see right now it's hot, but we also have days where it's really cold and it rains a lot. And we have a lot of people waiting at these bus stops, mostly seniors, and they don't have shelters. So I want to ask today that we put shelters on all of the bus stops.
Thank you.
Okay.
You have
Bueno,
another-
quería 2 puntos más, pero les agradezco como quiera que sea el tiempo que me han dado.
Gracias.
Gracias.
Thank you so much.
I had 2 more points, but thank you for the time you gave me anyway.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Isaac Michaka. I am representing the Youth Empowerment Network at KidWorks and also Boys and Men of Color, but I'm here to speak on behalf of the youth of Santa Ana. I'm a resident at Ward 6, and we believe that an investment in our youth is an investment in Santa Ana's future. The strategic plan should include a city internship program that provides our youth with real work experience and prepares them to contribute to their community as adults. The city should develop a position for a youth internship supervisor. The strategic plan should focus on creating good quality jobs for Santa Ana residents so our youth have employment opportunities that enable them to support themselves and their families and contribute to their communities. Under Objective 2, Strategy A of Youth Education and Recreation, there is a trip to Carnila Island to focus on camping skills. I believe that such an activity is not as transformative of an experience as it would be to have an internship program for youth. Our youth need opportunities to develop and strengthen our skills to be able to contribute to our communities. The city also needs to provide employment opportunities so that we, the youth, can work where we live and make Santa Ana a more vibrant community. Investing in our youth will provide the youth opportunity to support themselves and their family, and in return, strengthen Santa Ana's families and the local economy. When I graduate, I plan to return to Santa Ana and run for office so that I may also make a change and be a future leader. And I would like to end with the strategic plan unites many dreams for our community's future under one plan so we can build a better future for Santa Ana. Thank you.